So today we're going to be looking at making it possible, teaching presentation skills in the blended format. So I'm just going to brief you through what I've done in INTI KL campus to teach presentation skills. I'm teaching part-time and also full-time students. So you know when you teach part-time students, it's a little different from full-time. So I'll try to apply what I've done in part-time, in terms of part-time students also, yeah. So when you talk about blended learning, it's just a matter of us blending everything together. We're using traditional and also the combination of traditional and online. Okay? And there are basically three top takeaways that I found to be the most useful for presentation skills specifically, yeah? Okay, so why use blended learning and why does it work for presentation skills? Okay, one thing great about it is you get a free co-faculty. I think all of us are always, oh my god, I need help. I need someone to help me out. I need another faculty. Could I have someone to assist me with? So what happens is when you use this method of blended learning for presentation skills, what I say is you get a co-faculty. How? The camera. Camera works as a co-faculty. So when you're doing presentation skills, when I first started teaching presentation skills, and you come to me and say use blended learning, I'm like, hello, it's presentation skills, are you kidding me? You want me to use this, how will it work? Okay, so you use the camera, what happens is, we have this whole concept of, as teachers, we are the experts, right? But when you use a camera, the expert and the learner actually become the same thing. And everyone becomes an expert and everyone becomes a learner. Because when it comes to presentation skills, when you teach presentation skills, right, and someone is standing in front, you're sitting and you are grading and you're telling them, giving them comments. I can't really hear what I sound like, yeah? We're not like singers where you have that, I don't know what they call it, they put in their ears and they go like, okay, I sound like this. I have no idea what I sound like until I record myself, yeah? And when you record yourself, this is what happens. You go like, oh my, is that what I sound like? I sound different, I sound like a kid, I sound like a cartoon character perhaps, yeah? And sometimes the student actually watching this, listening to it, they can see what they really sound like. And it kind of gives them a certain self-awareness, which you and I can't do it for them. Sometimes you tell them, you know, they've progressed, right? And you say, amazing Anura, you've done an amazing job. You know, you've gone from this to this, and they go like, really, Miss? You think so? So it's not as real as actually watching yourself present. Then you can really see specifically what you're doing. Where is your hand going? Your voice energy, is it high enough? Okay, and instead of me going on and talking, I'm going to show you what students have done. Okay, these are my part-time students from the UH program. So this is the NPU module for presentation skills. So it becomes your right-hand man. So instead of you being the only one giving progress reports and telling them how they've done, they themselves can take an active role in actually seeing what is happening when they are presenting, yeah? So what I do is I get students to upload in the discussion board using Blackboard. So they upload their videos. Okay. One thing good about this is not only I see, other students see, and in terms of feedback, when feedback is given, everybody can see. Okay. So I'm just going to show you a sample video. I'm not going to show you the whole thing.
It was an afternoon and heavy rain. My mom was calling me, Imran, Imran, Imran. I woke up, opened the door, and saw my dad was holding his chest. So I rushed him to hospital. He was admitted to CCU. This was the most scary moment. And I was waiting outside for Dr. Answer. Once he came out from the door, so I saw his answer was, he was fine.
Very dramatic, right? If some of you recognize him, he's from INTI Subang actually. I think he's doing a digital media in Subang, one of our students, yeah? So what happens is they can just see what they sound like, what they're doing, what's the tone like, how dramatic they are, everything they can actually see. And they can keep on re-recording, okay, to help them. Because before they upload it, they can keep on re-recording. So they're kind of improving on their own. And there's more self-awareness.
was going in from one ear and out the other, which was why I was getting C for my Chinese most of the time. Everything changed when this person came into my life. She was very strict with us. She made sure that we had a dictionary with us, checking on every noun, every word, every adjective that we could not understand. And when she asked us about the definition of those words, if we could not answer her, then she will reward us with her rota.
So stop it there. As you can see, she's full of expressions, right? There's no full body, it's just half. But it's so engaging. So students can see, like, I mean, it's easy for you as the lecturer to say, of course you can do it, you will do well, don't worry, don't be afraid. But when they see their own classmates doing it, she's doing it, I can do it too. It kind of gives them a certain level of confidence, yeah? So another thing which is amazing about it, which we all need, is time. It saves our time. Every time you get students to present in front of class, and by the time you give feedback, ask them what they think, it takes a lot of time. Say we have classes 30, 40, somehow you have 200, yeah? So imagine if you're getting people to present. How much time is that going to take? And if you really want to give proper feedback, you don't have that time. So when you put it online, this gives you a lot of time, and not just you giving that feedback to one person, everyone can see, and everyone can give their own feedback. Okay? So what can complement that further is a rubric assessment. I don't know if you can see. Can you all see? No. Let me see if I can get it bigger. Okay. You have these rubrics, right? So when you have these rubrics, that's how I grade their videos. So for example, okay, the tone of the voice is poorly executed. Description is not there, there's little connection with the words and with the audience, for example. So they know, okay, that level is not so good. Maybe I need to up it a little. Paints a picture based on the description, but unable to evoke emotions. Another one, evokes emotions, paints pictures. Yeah, so you give them a level. And it teaches students to give feedback. We are always the one giving the feedback, right? We have to be the one who criticizes in a certain extent, right? Constructive criticism. So you teach them how to give feedback, and what happens is they become their own critic. Okay? They will give comments, constructive ones, to your classmates. So this is an example of what they've done. Not just general comments. In class, what happens if you say, so what do you think about that presentation? Okay, miss, good. Or they will say, not bad, miss. But what do you really learn from that, right? So this way, not just us, but they learn to do the same thing. They learn to give constructive feedback, and you can guide them each time. So at the end of the day, you get comments like this. I like the way you use your hand gesture when you said this. So it's very specific. So they learn not only from me, but from each other. So what maybe I missed out, your classmates can help out with that. Okay? And even in terms of improving, sometimes students you have on both spectrums, right? The ones who will go all out to tell you how wrong you are, and then the ones who won't comment because I'm going to hurt your feelings. Okay? So this way students have a bit more confidence to give comments, yeah? So they will say things like, I think you should pay attention to your pronunciation, like public speaking. It sounded like you swallowed the word public. It's very specific. So they really learn. So we're kind of teaching students to analyze not only their classmates, but in turn analyze themselves, right? Okay? So it's the third takeaway, I would say, it's very hands-on. It's independent learning for the student. Okay? Confidence level will go skyrocketing because they can see their progress from video 1, week 1, video 1 to week 6. They go like, Miss, I'm not doing this anymore. You know, some students, they say, Miss, you know, when they speak, actually today I want to talk about, because they're so nervous. And sometimes when you tell them, they can't see themselves doing this. But they see the video like, oh my God, I'm doing this, like, okay, I need to do something about it. It becomes a very conscious effort. Okay? So it really boosts their confidence levels more than you could ever do it for them. Okay? So this is another example of how I use Flip using blended method. So I put videos online, for example. You're expected to choose, nobody puts baby in a corner. I don't know if you all know that movie, it's quite an old movie. So I get them to actually act out a character, a single dialogue, with the expressions and all, using a dialogue from that movie. So they go and watch it and things like that, and they come back and they imitate. Because I just want to see voice levels. Okay? So So they go back and they do this activity, they come to class immediately and they present this. And when they come to class and present it, then students will go like, okay, what's the energy level like? Is it this much? Is it this much? Okay, we should go higher. Okay? If you're saying you're excited, okay, I'm so excited today. So, okay, students will go like, okay, up, 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 up. So they actually take part in helping the student come up. Okay? So that's flipping your class, just a very short version of it. I'm sure you've got more from the other sessions in terms of flipping, but just one of the items are used. Okay? And of course, I also do practice tests. This is not part of my assessment, okay, because presentation skills, we don't have tests. But what I do is I just ask them, it doesn't have to be 20 MCQ questions. It could just be 2 questions, 1 week, 2 questions. I'll go like, what is strong language, for example? Give me some examples. The wind was howling, and then suddenly, you know, what's descriptive? So this gives you an idea of what they understand by it. Sometimes you go to class and teach them certain things, and their understanding is just the example you've given. It doesn't go beyond that. So this way you can kind of gauge what they really understood that week. And it's a very fast gauging system. Okay, so this is another example. The wind howled so violently. That little ginger, the silky terrier, hid behind the acorn wheelbarrow. So very descriptive. So you know what level they understand of that particular area. Yeah. So sometimes you say, oh my God, it's a huge workload. If I have to put 50 questions, 20 questions, no need. 2 questions is fine. Sometimes you just need 3 questions, right, for that particular topic. What is the most important thing that they need to know? Okay. So blended learning, of course, in this format, I've only looked at 3, of course. There are many others, okay, but due to time constraint, I used only 3. There's so many good things to use. Like many people have said in online assessment, for example, right? You don't need to put so many hours in, less contact hours. Okay, more independent learning, hands-on. Students learn faster and better. Okay, but besides it increasing efficiency, and it also enhances the student's journey. It's not just about the final destination, right? It's along the way what they've learned, and they really feel like they have put that effort in. They have done something. Okay, but blended learning is not one size fits all, right? You can't just put it and expect everyone to view it the same way. So one particular thing might work for this class, it might not work for next semester. It might work for part-time students, it might not work for full-time students. So you've got to kind of play around with it. Okay. So technology is just a platform, it's just a tool. I can't tell you how important it is that it's just a tool. It's a platform. It's how you use it that determines whether it becomes something active and something that's going to help your student, or it just becomes another platform where you dump all your notes online, which they can get through email, or they can get in written format. The only thing that changes is the platform. If you use it passively, it's still going to be a very passive technology. Yeah. So you must use it to complement your subject. So I know some of you might be doing presentation skills, but the rest of you might have different subjects. So different subjects might require different things. Maybe the percentage of using blended learning might be smaller. Some might be bigger. Okay. So we got to use technology effectively, because like Toffler says, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And this is not just for students, but for ourselves. We have to keep on learning and relearning, and it's not one size fits all. So as we go for per class, even the same subject you can teach for 6 semesters. Next semester could be completely different, because the students are different. Even though we have this impression that the Gen Y and Gen Z all are apt in technology, you'll be surprised sometimes that they don't know how to use it. So sometimes we have to change our assumptions, we have to relearn and unlearn what we think is true, especially when dealing with part-time students.